On this episode of United, it looks easy, but it takes practice. We'll give you some tips to improve your soccer game. You'll meet a guy who was on UCF's first football team and has done it all since. And we'll show you a great way to help you study for tests in school. United starts now.
Hello, and welcome to this edition of United. I'm Gina Thomas. Today we're here with Coach Brian Cunningham to talk about the importance of ball control and field movement. Coach, what is the key to good ball control?
The key to good ball control is actually day in and day out working on your touch. And what we talk about all the time is making sure you're using every surface of your foot, be it the top of your foot, the bottom of your foot, the inside and outside, as well as making sure you're working on your dominant foot and your non-dominant foot. And as you progress along is working on the different surfaces of your body, your chest, your thighs, in order to control the ball in a tight and confined space.
And why is good ball control so important?
Well, as you move from working by yourself and getting down your touch, you're going to escalate into a team environment, to a competitive environment, where having a good touch is going to help you to pass the ball better, to work with your teammates better, and obviously to keep the ball away from the opposition. So when we talk about the younger kids, it's keeping that ball control, keeping the ball close to you, and knowing when to be explosive with it. And the better your touch is, when you move into a game situation, the more effective you're going to be, whether you're passing the ball, shooting the ball, bringing down a pass, or making a pass.
What is the key to good touch, and why is that important?
The key to touch is just repetition, and we taught that with our players at this level. Is just repetition every day, getting touches on the ball, left foot, right foot, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, every surface that you can think of that you're able to use in soccer, is to make sure you're working on that every day.
Thanks, Coach. And now some ball dribbling skills.
My name is James Prosser. I'm one of the assistant coaches for the men's soccer team here at UCF.
My name is Mauricio Ruiz. I'm also one of the assistant coaches here at UCF.
The first demonstration that we're going to do here is only need a soccer ball and a couple different cones that you can pick up at your local sporting goods store. Just working right now, we've got two cones set about 5-6 yards apart. We got one ball between the two of us. This is if I had a partner out on the field with me. Just kind of warming up here to get some different touches on the ball. Just passing the ball back and forth to start with. After we pass the ball, we're looking to kind of change a direction and not just pass it standing in a straight line. So I'm going to pass the ball here to Coach Mauricio. He's going to take it, cross his body with the inside of his foot. He's going to play it right back to me. Same thing, ball's going to come across my body, and we're always looking to use the inside of our foot to pass the ball. We can change direction on what foot we're going to use, so I can take it back to my right side and bring it across from our left to our right. As coaches, we always like to see soccer players that are able to use both feet when they're playing the game. So anytime we do an exercise, we always have our players working on both feet. We use the inside, now we'll look to use the outside of the foot to play with. So we got the outside, knock it across, still looking to pass with the inside of the foot, and pull it across with the outside, pass with the inside. All right, the next segment we're gonna do is just some dribbling, so some movement with the ball now. Mauricio's got the ball on one foot. He's looking to dribble forward and kind of pull the ball back behind his leg with the inside of his foot. Notice he's using the inside of the foot when he pulls it back behind him. It's a subtle move, and it's almost more effective if you use your whole body in turning. So notice Coach will use his arms to help pull the ball back behind him. Like the defender's gonna think he's striking it with his arms out wide, extends his leg like he's gonna strike it, the last second he pulls it back behind him. Same idea we can do using the outside of the foot, just a different surface of the foot we're looking to use to help turn or change direction. So Coach is gonna, same thing, we got our area about 6-7 yards, he's gonna dribble forward with the ball. Again, likes to use both feet, not just one foot. Stepping over the ball. And again, it's just a simple change of direction. Notice if Coach is bringing his right leg around the ball, he's always turning to his right side. If he pulls his left leg around the ball from the outside to the inside, he turns to his left side. So in this specific turn, whichever leg you use to pull your leg around the ball, that's which direction you're going to go. Excellent. And again, the move is more effective if I have my upper body movement, if I can use my arms to throw the defender off a bit. That helps the exercise be a little bit more dynamic as well. All we're going to do right now is just simple touches on the ball in a small area, yet still getting comfortable with the ball on both feet. This is an exercise you could do inside your house. The ball stays on the ground. Obviously, mom and dad don't want you knocking the ball up against the television or the walls and breaking pictures or anything like that. Just your basic, your foundation, moving the ball side to side. Both feet are getting touches on it. It's not so much the heel of my foot, but the inside of my big toe, almost the inside of your foot on the upper portion. Notice our feet never stop moving. We never stand still. Our feet are never banging against the ground on our heels. Always on our toes, always a little bounce. Then we can push the ball forward. We can take it from our left foot to our right foot, pull it back towards us, and keep that foundation going in between. Or we can take it from our right foot to our left foot, pull it back towards us, and keep that foundation going in between. Again, a good habit as you're dribbling is just to keep your head up, be looking around you. Just as a soccer player, we ask our players, how comfortable with the ball can you be? The more comfortable with the ball, the better soccer player you're going to be.
Make sure to stay tuned. Coming up next is a special Where Are They Now segment.
Did you know that UCF soccer great Hecky Ritmanen finished his collegiate playing career with 88 goals, the third most in NCAA history? Hecky also finished 10th in career points with 188. He's the first men's soccer player from UCF to earn All-America honors at the Division I level. Don't go away, we'll have more United after the break.
Welcome back to United. I'm Megan Clementi. Sometimes the road to college can be a roundabout one. Where most successful student athletes go straight from high school to college, Michael O'Shaughnessy took a different path. Michael was a high school dropout. That decision could be the end of the road for many young adults, but Michael managed to get his life back on track. He has broken world records, become successful in the real estate industry, and has met the love of his life. As Michael can tell you, there's always the opportunity to turn your life around.
Well, you know, to describe Michael O'Shaughnessy, Nate, is really let's say, an adventure.
I quit high school in 9th grade. I went to Winter Park High School for 2 days. The next day I said, I'm out of here. I hitchhiked around the country for several years, off and on. It hit me about 19 years old that I was going to start, you know, if I didn't figure it out, life, how to get back on track, it was, you know, I was going to end up using my hands to make a living. And I knew that education was a path that would lead me into something. I went to school out at Seminole Community College, and after I got my AA degree, I had some friends that had played baseball out at UCF, and they said I should try and walk on the baseball team.
He didn't have, let's say, a gold spoon put in his mouth. He worked real hard. You know, he had to get his grades up to get to UCF.
And a guy by the name of Bill Moon, who was a coach out at UCF, invited me on after I went into the interview, and I think he liked my enthusiasm. He liked the fire and the intensity that I had.
I think all of those efforts and experiences that led him to UCF, that was just, I think, just a watershed opportunity for him going to UCF.
You know what? The light goes on for everybody. For me, it went on when I went into UCF, and I had Jerry Gergley as a professor, and I had Dr. Roeder as a professor, and they're enthusiastically telling me about life and what's going on, and I'm trying to wake up, and all that was just immersing into my head, and I was realizing, wow, this is unbelievable.
You know, when you're young, you don't have a direction, and back in those days, UCF was growing. It had just started. The football team had just started.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. You got 150 guys there, guys you read about in the sports pages from the local high schools, other guys transferring from Division I football teams that were either cast-offs or troublemakers. You had guys like me that were more bar bouncers than anything else. There was a collective energy there of wanting to be a part of this first entity, the 1979 inaugural football team, and we all knew that it was special.
He met a lot of young people, and I think it gave him a focus on what he wanted to do and what he wanted to accomplish.
Here I was on the wrong side of the fence for so many years by choice, and I was given an opportunity to be on the right side of the fence. learning teamwork, discipline, how to survive. And for me, I understood the importance of that opportunity in my life.
Well, you know, that passion that he had for football, that desire to be the best, the desire to win, the desire to be better than the people around him. I think that really, really helped him because he started in real estate, and he actually started before he graduated. He was already, you know, working with somebody. He was awful good. As a matter of fact, he sold me my house. That was one of the first houses he sold.
I started to understand the manifestation of creating things. It's nothing more than wanting something, writing it down, realizing that that's your path, and it leads you wherever you want to, you know, be led. Unfortunately, only 5% of the population understands that you can have whatever it is that you want.
If you know him at all, you know, he's not afraid of a confrontation. He's not afraid to stick his neck out. He's not afraid to fail, and that's a really big thing that I think differentiates him from a lot of people, because on some level we're all afraid of failure. It's just a matter of how much we're willing to take.
Don't worry about failing. Failure is part of success. Where you truly fail is when you never get back up.
After a successful college career at UCF, Michael continued moving forward with his life. Coming up next on United, we get some of his thoughts on the importance of having balance in life and how that can lead to success. Welcome back. Once Michael O'Shaughnessy got his life on track, he never settled for less. Taking every experience as the opportunity for growth, he continued to look for new goals to reach. Despite dropping out of high school, Michael was able to find true success. In a book he wrote, he calls the areas of balance everyone needs the Millennium Star approach. The star symbolizes the 5 integral parts of life which must be balanced for someone to be truly successful. Michael believes it is only when you are passionate and balanced that you can move forward in life and achieve anything you wish to achieve.
The key is experience. You know, the key is more experiences. I mean, you can be an average person, live an average life in an average job, in an average box, and then you die, or else you can go live like life is a banquet.
You know, we tend to not say you don't do something just because it's hard. You do something because you have the desire to do it, and you figure out a way to do it.
The fact that he doesn't move sideways, he's always moving forward. It is his #1 hobby. He takes a big surfboard and he goes across the ocean.
My greatest feeling in my life was paddling out of Havana Harbor with a full moon coming over Havana and realizing, wow, this is unbelievable. I got 100 miles to go on this paddle. Across the straits, you know, they're infested with sharks and what have you. You know, those moments live with me. Those moments get me to the next goal. You have to keep pushing yourself forward into areas that are unknown, uncomfortable, or things that you want to achieve.
If it's sports, if it's art, if it's music, if it's books, if it's writing, whatever that is, there has to be something that is important to you.
Everything you do in your life breaks down to one of 5 categories. It's health, it's your personal pursuits, it's the love in your life, your family, it's your financial, and it's the amount of education that you're constantly feeding yourself.
It's important to have something that means something to you. What's not okay is to be apathetic about your life. I believe that everybody has something that interests them, something that ignites them, something that they care about.
And it's about having a balance. You could be the greatest high school football player ever, but if you don't have that balance of education, supporting grades, it won't allow you to get to the next step. If you don't have a family that supports you, or if you don't have love going on in your life, then that's going to gnaw and drag these other goals, you know, away.
You can't work at something so hard that you forget the things that are important to you.
If you emphasize one part too much, the others suffer. It's never always balanced. You're always struggling, I think, to kind of find that symmetry in your life based on whatever you're given.
And that's a fleeting thing. It's an everyday thing. It's something that you have to be keenly aware of every day in some form or fashion. So, you know, what kind of life you want to live really is what it boils down to.
Education is definitely a major factor in Michael O'Shaughnessy's success. But let's be honest, sometimes it's hard to be passionate about school when you have a huge test bearing down on you. Coming up next on United, we're going to give you some great study tips so you can ace your next test. Don't go away.
Hey, this is LT from 101.1 WJRR. You're listening to the best sounds of area music. UCF Athletics, Access Magazine, and WJRR are proud to support local artists.
Stars are falling from the sky. Constellations pass me by. Never knowing what is real when this is how I feel. Far beyond anyone's grip. Way up in the atmosphere. Higher and higher.
Hi, and welcome back to United. I'm Stephen Helmkamp with Christy Belden. She's the Associate Director for Academic Services with Student Athletes. Thank you for being here today.
Welcome, glad to be here.
Christy, what are we going to be learning about?
We are going to discuss note cards and how that can help you study and be successful.
What are some of the different ways when making note cards that they can be used for studying?
Well, we can work on note cards such as definitions, making sure we know the material for simple facts. We can also do it to quiz yourself and make sure that you actually know the material before you go in to take an exam.
What would you say is the most important thing for students when they're making their note cards?
I think they want to keep them short and simple and concise and to the point. So for instance, you want to have one specific fact on a note card front and back. And so even if you're studying, a whole textbook of material, it's better to have a whole stack of note cards than try and fit all of that information on one simple note card. So it's better, like I said, to have many cards, one for each fact that you're going to cover. It makes it easier for your brain to understand and memorize.
Now, is there any particular mistake that you commonly see students making when they're doing their note cards?
I think they tend to assume that they know the material when in fact they don't. So a good tip is to separate your note cards into the you know pile and the you do not know pile. And you can literally pick them up and quiz yourself. For example, note card number 1, what is the question? I know the answer. This goes in the I know pile. And then when you go through them, this one, I got it wrong, so it goes in the I don't know pile. Ultimately, as you learn this material, those note cards move to the I know pile, and hopefully that's 100% of your material, and then you ace your exam.
Would you say that note cards are a better tool to use rather than reading out of textbooks or reading off of online quizzes?
Absolutely. It's very beneficial for students in their various learning styles, such that reading a textbook over and over and over again is pretty ineffective studying technique. Whereas note cards, if you're an auditory learner, you can say it out loud. If you're a visual learner, you can look at the note card and see the material, which helps you understand it. And for some students, tactile writing the note card and preparing the note card is another way for them to literally memorize the material. So, like I said, it incorporates all of your senses in being able to understand the material.
Well, Christy, thank you so much for your time here today. Let's go check in with 2 of our student athletes, Joe and Ronnie, to see how their note card taking is going.
Hello and welcome to Successful Note Taking. I'm Joe Weatherford, quarterback here at UCF, and I'm here to show you the 5 simple ways in taking a successful note card. The first one is keeping it very simple.
How you doing? My name is Ronnie Weaver. I'm a running back here at UCF. And what Joe means by simple is just making simple definitions. Who is Joe? Your back part of the card will go and read. You can make bullet points. I like making bullet points. He's a quarterback. He's skinny, a sophomore, and he is accurate at throwing the ball. And simple definitions are things you can easily, readily identify with.
The next thing we'd like to emphasize is keeping it very quick. You don't want to have too much information on your card that's going to be hard to read. So you notice how Ronnie used who is Joe, very simple, and 4 simple bullet points so he can easily come back and reread it. Next, keeping references, which is very, very important. You never want to get lost on your note cards.
The exact point Joe was referring to when he says references is making sure you know which point in the book that you are referring to when you make a definition. Who is Joe? This is chapter 2 in Joey's life story, page number 117. So when you go to this page in the book of Joe's life, you will see who is Joe. And at this point in his life, he is a quarterback, he is skinny, he is a sophomore in college, and he's very accurate as a passes. The next point we want to bring up is the self-test aspect. What we mean by that is when you're studying with yourself, by yourself, or with another person, make sure you know the front of the note card and then try to guess the aspects of the note card. Or you can do it the opposite way by reading the back of the note card first and then trying to guess what the character is.
And finally, our last point is to make piles. It's very important that you have two separate piles. One pile for the ones you do know and one pile for the ones you don't know.
So I'm gonna go through my note cards and see what I really do know and don't know. Okay, I know that one. Yeah, I don't think I know that one all the way. Being successful, I got that one. So what I can do before my test is try to get all my don't know pile into my know pile, and then I'll be completely ready for my test on Thursday.
Thank you for coming to Successful Note Taking. I'm Joe Weatherford.
I'm Ronnie Weaver.
And join us next time. We're going to be talking about why Ronnie is so slow.
What? Come on.
Well, that was Joe and Ronnie. Sure looked like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they do a great job. Both are very good student athletes, and we're proud for them to represent us.
For Christy Belden, I'm Stephen Helmkamp. Thank you for tuning in to United. We'll see you next time.